Welcome and thank you for tuning in for another episode of the Sitecore Water Cooler, the casual conversation podcast dedicated to covering all things related to Sitecore, including product updates, implementations, insights, getting the most out of your Sitecore investment, and more. I'm your host, Jon Price, Global Sitecore Practice Director and Sitecore MVP at AmericanEagle.com. We've taken a tour of the composable products in the Sitecore ecosystem so far this year, but today we're taking a bit of a different flavor on it. Today we're discussing Sitecore's Partner Solution Catalog. The intent of the Partner Solution Catalog is to deliver and accelerate time to value for Sitecore's customers. Today we're joined by Jake DiMare, Partner Solutions Manager at Sitecore. Jake, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Jonathan. It's great to be here.
Really appreciate your time. So Jake, I know you've been around the Sitecore space for quite a while. So let's start by you just telling us a little bit more about yourself and your history within the Sitecore ecosystem.
I started my career in the website space. If you can believe it, I was a programmer. I learned how to code HTML and CSS and this old tech called. It's hard to believe I'm calling it old, but there was this thing called Cold Fusion back that was really popular in the early aughts.
Yeah.
And I was building websites for an advertising agency, a regional advertising agency in New England. I was frankly pretty terrible as a coder, but I was great with the customers. So I eventually became a project manager and wound up at a partner that at the time was called iSight Design. They eventually rebranded as Connective DX and were later acquired. And iSight, at the time we were iSight, most of our business was from Sitecore. So we were doing a ton of Sitecore projects. I think I joined them in 2010. And that was kind of my introduction to the ecosystem. And from that point forward, I worked for Agency Oasis that was acquired by RightPoint. Spent some time with RightPoint. Eventually wound up at Exenium. By that time in my career, I'd gone through, from project manager to digital strategy consultant to on the business development side doing marketing leadership. I'd sort of boomeranged back to Connective DX and was running marketing for them, and then found myself at Exenium. And, all great partners. I wish I had wound up at American Eagle at some point, but because I know you guys are fabulous partners as well. But earlier this year, I was fortunate enough to get picked up by Sitecore for this role, which I absolutely love because it allows me to use all that experience, on the partner
Yeah.
side to help partners succeed.
Awesome. Yeah, seems like you've kind of done it all and you're closing up on your almost 15-year mark of working in the Sitecore ecosystem. Very cool. So you mentioned starting with Sitecore this year. I know this is a bit of a newer role at Sitecore, but yeah, tell us more about your role as Partner Solutions Manager.
Yeah, so I sit in a really cool small team called the Partner Strategy Team. I report to Paul Murrell, who reports up to Owen, and our goal for the Partner Strategy Team is to help create and execute programs and deliver assets that allow the partner team to make good on Owen's strategy for the entire ecosystem. So we're not responsible for the strategy. Owens does that, but we help create programs that realize that vision of aligning the partner ecosystem to Sitecore, particularly on the go-to-market side, right? So anything that we do, we try to connect it to interlock between the partners and Sitecore. Now, the most visible thing is the solutions program, and that's where I spend about half of my time. There are some other things we could probably get into that are more internal facing, but they're also related to executing on the solutions program as well.
Sure. Very cool. Yeah, we can definitely dive into some of those topics. I'll definitely want you to give some more insights in a bit here, kind of what's coming down the pipe with you guys. But in the composable ecosystem like Sitecore, you have varying different amount of products. They all have different capabilities. So what is the importance of this partner solution catalog, and maybe what are some of the consideration partners and customers should focus on?
Yeah, I like to describe the solutions program as one of those rare win-win-win scenarios because it's sort of like a flywheel of value. For Sitecore, the solutions program has business development benefits in so much as the solutions themselves are are really great assets for lead generation and demand generation on the marketing side. On the sales side, when sellers find solutions that help them continue or restart conversations with prospects, they're very valuable in that regard. They help us find partners that have the right mix of capabilities and experience for opportunities that are out there, but also they are another way for partners to develop their experience and capabilities with Sitecore products. So if you can imagine, XM Cloud is our, it's a major focus for us. It's relatively new, and so having partners that sign up to build XM Cloud solutions can serve as another proof point for their ability to deliver for our customers. For the partners, their own go-to-market efforts, the solutions can be a great asset. So when I was running marketing at Xenium and Connective DX, we were always trying to think about ways that we could have a conversation with the market. And that a lot of times would boil down to, hey, let's create a premium piece of downloadable content, or let's do another webinar and talk about our experience with a certain Sitecore product or our experience in a certain industry vertical. A solution can be very much like those things where you invest in this thing that you create that demonstrates your expertise and your capabilities and your experience with specific types of businesses, and then build a marketing campaign around that. You've already done all that work, so it's great to use that as a strategic asset and go to market. And then finally, and probably most importantly for our customers, most of our solutions have a couple of promises. One is that it accelerates their time to value, as you mentioned at the top, and also it mitigates risk. When a customer that's considering an investment in Sitecore and and a solution implementation partner, if they can see based on our solution catalog that a partner has experience with the product, experience with their industry, experience with how they do business, that's just all, great information and points for them to use when they're building a consideration set and making a selection.
Sure. Can definitely see a huge value from the partner perspective, increasing visibility, highlighting capabilities, and kind of shortening time to market. Definitely makes sense. From a customer point of view, I'm just kind of browsing around right now. And for anyone that's listening, the solution catalogs, if you go to sitecore.com under partners, then there's a solution catalog main navigation item. But, the other thing that caught my eye, Jake, is, what's the difference between the partner solution catalog and then the Sitecore app marketplace? I know some of these other software companies have app marketplaces. So what's
Yeah.
the difference in the Sitecore world?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the app marketplace is run by a different group.
Okay.
I think we call it the TAP program, and I believe you guys are a TAP partner as well.
Yep.
And that is a place for sort of discrete chunks of code-driven helpers that do things like integration or connecting. Um, and there's a lot of them. It's an older program, and it's distinguished, or we distinguish the solutions because they're a sort of combination of Sitecore products, partner capabilities, and experience in a way that solves a specific business problem that or maybe even a broader strategic business problem that our customers may have. Whereas the connector marketplace or the app marketplace are very discrete and specific things. Like if you need a connection between Sitecore and Marketo, you can get one in the app marketplace.
Very cool. Yeah. So basically, if I'm looking for a specific connector or a specific integration, app marketplace might be the place to start for a customer. Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
So for customers or prospects that may not be familiar with Sitecore yet, if I'm considering Sitecore maybe for complete transformation, CMS, personalization, you name it, when they're coming to the partner solution catalog, what recommendations do you have for them? How should they browse this section of the Sitecore site?
Oh, that's a great question. So one of the things we're really happy about is that for that section we're using Sitecore Search and it works
Very cool.
phenomenally. So you can just literally type in, what is it you need help with, and you're going to get a list of solutions that match that. Also, you can if you're there right now we have filters. So if you're thinking specifically about content, commerce, or experience, you can narrow it down that way. If you're looking for a specific partner, the search works really well. Um, that is an area, as you know, we started this pretty recently. We've got about 50 solutions up there now. It's been about a year. One of the things that we can talk more about is in our go forward planning. We have all kinds of ideas about how to improve
Sure.
the usability of or the findability of stuff in the catalog because it's gotten so big in such a short amount of time. And some of the things we're thinking about are allowing people to filter on specific products,
Yep.
specific types of solutions, like an accelerator versus maybe a Sitecore fundamental solution. Or one of the things also that distinguish solutions from the app marketplace is solutions don't necessarily have to have a code component. Some of the best and most successful solutions right now are we sort of put them in the Sitecore fundamentals category, where partners like American Eagle have so much experience with Sitecore, and they've learned so much about how to help our customers be successful. And a lot of that is in the run up to a project where you're installing, configuring, and customizing Sitecore. So I'm thinking about road mapping, helping them with cost benefit analysis, helping them understand where their maturity is, and then making decisions about how they're going to need to change as an organization, be that personnel, culture, enablement, training, stuff like that. So it doesn't necessarily need to have a code component to it. And that is a filter that we're thinking about looking into. Like, is this a service offering versus a service offering plus some combination of Sitecore components and templates, or is it just like a pure play accelerator where some of them now that they're really valuable are the ones where it's a partner that has a lot of experience in a vertical.
Hmm.
So instead of just doing like an XM Cloud accelerator, they're doing an XM Cloud accelerator for manufacturing or for professional services or for healthcare because they've done so much work in that space. They know the archetypes of templates and components and integrations that are needed to help those types of businesses be successful more quickly.
Sure. No, makes total sense. Yeah, I'm definitely seeing what you're saying here. There's a bit of a strategy component in some of these, like how just to start even planning for some of these implementations. So very cool. You have been very busy, with up to 50 solutions now in your catalog. So and I know we have a few in the works with you guys as well
Yeah,
that we're
yeah.
looking forward to releasing here shortly.
It's kind of funny. The first couple of months, I was running around, having conversations with everybody and getting generating interest in the North America in the Americas region. And it was like being a farmer. As the end of the summer came around, all these solutions have come in, and we doubled the size of the catalog, or more than doubled it in the last couple of months. So it's been a lot of fun seeing how interested everyone is and excited about participating.
Yeah. I think the other really cool thing here is, it's not just focused on new customers. There is a focus on existing Sitecore customers on what maybe they should do next in their journey and maybe even switching to
Yeah,
composable. And obviously shameless plug for us is, we're working with you on an XM Cloud migration accelerator if you are an XM or XP and the best next jump to XM Cloud. I think that stuff like that's going to be very important. And we're also thinking of a
yeah,
few others in that same vein of going from an existing Sitecore product to a new composable product. So it's good to see you guys have a large focus on that as well.
yeah, yeah. I think no, I don't think I know right now. Getting people into XM Cloud is our number one sales priority. So
Yep, absolutely. Switching gears here a little bit to the internal, sounds like you might have some inside baseball to share with us. How do individuals at Sitecore use this partner solution catalog, or do you guys have like an internal facing version of this how you guys evaluate partners?
yeah, yeah, great question. So as I mentioned earlier, in terms of value to the partner ecosystem, um, one the partner strategies team sits in an interesting place inside of Sitecore. We're constantly having conversations with the sellers and the product team. It's we see it as a two-way street. It's not just going out to the partners and saying, "Hey, do you want to participate in this program?" We want to come to you with information that's going to help you be successful. And what that looks like is what are the types of solutions you could invest your time and energy into today that are going to help you be best positioned for where we believe the opportunities are going to be tomorrow, today and tomorrow, right? So looking into the future of where our go to market is going, how can you be best positioned to take advantage of all of that stuff that's coming? The other side of it is when we create new solutions, we continue that conversation with the PBMs and the sellers and everyone else inside Sitecore and say, hey, this is a new solution that's out there. You think you should know about it? Do you have any opportunities that this is aligned to? And we do that in one-on-one conversations. We have an internal space that we're building on our internal um, intranet. We call it the core. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. We have a sales enablement tool where every time a new solution gets published, we build a print version of it, a PDF version of it, and we publish it to the sales enablement tool. So when the sellers are looking for assets to go out to their prospects with and have conversations, they have something readily available that they can attach to an email and some scripted copy where they can use that solution as a way to continue the conversation or restart a conversation that may have gone quiet. We also, one of the things I've built since I started is an internal database that mirrors not only what's published out on the site, but every single solution that we've ever thought of, worked on, if it's in the pipeline being developed, if it's something that was published and archived. Because one of the neat things that's happened this year is we went out to everybody that had done, earlier solutions and asked them if they'd like to refresh them and add new content. A couple of them did completely new versions, so we archived the old ones. And we collect a lot more meta information than we publish out to the site. So there is a tool inside of Sitecore on SharePoint. It's a lists database where a seller can go, or anyone can go and say, "I'm looking for a solution that helps somebody in North America adopt XM Cloud that's coming from an earlier version of legacy platform DXP." And there's just a lot more information that we can make available.
Perfect. No, it's very helpful. It's good. It's good. It's good to hear how you utilize this internally as well, as partners kind of consider what to maybe add to it, and also customers also good to get good insight as well. Something I always like to ask our guests, as we're going through products or some type of solution with our guests like yourself, Jake, is there anything you can share as far as like a customer case study, right? Is there any like in the past year, like any of these solutions that have really delivered great value to a customer? Obviously, you don't have to name a customer or partner, but any examples that you can give of one of these in action?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's been a couple of examples where solutions have led to closed won deals, and it's interesting because we've examined them and and come to a very distinct point of view about why they were successful. And without naming names, there are a couple of partners that a lot of times the way the solutions have happened over the last couple of years is we're having conversations with everybody in the partner ecosystem and saying, like other programs, hey, this is available. Do you want to participate? And it's great that people want to participate. We love that. There are a couple of partners who have come to us and said, started the conversation in a different way. And the way they've done it is said, hey, we've identified an opportunity. We have a thesis about this opportunity that exists in the marketplace. We're building a strategic go-to-market motion to attack that opportunity. And we think a solution is part of a much larger plan that will be helpful, right? So we're going to do social, we're going to do email, we're going to do advertising, maybe we're going to run an event, and we want to have a solution as something to talk about as part of this broader go to market. And when in the cases where that's happened, they've had lists of organizations they want to sell into, an account-based marketing plan, things of that nature, where the solution is part of the overall program. It's led to more leads and more opportunities and eventually closed won deals.
Awesome. And then any customer examples that have utilized one of these solutions that maybe have helped them deliver maybe this year? Because I know the program is relatively new within the past couple of years, but is there any customer case studies that have utilized one of these solutions that have gone live or anything you can share?
I definitely can't share the name of the customer,
Of
but yeah,
course, yep.
one of those two deals that I just talked about, the solution was very helpful in terms of getting them from their old CMS onto the Sitecore platform. And that was what the solution was designed to do: was accelerate and sort of reduce the pain and headaches associated with the migration from a third-party platform into Sitecore's ecosystem.
Very cool. That was great to hear. So I know the program is going through a number of changes. We're on the cusp of Minnesota DX here in a few weeks. What can you share leading up to Minnesota DX? Is there anything that we can expect to hear at maybe the partner summit or even at Minnesota DX itself or SUGCON with some of the partner solution updates or anything else worth sharing that maybe you can give us a sneak peek into?
Yeah, absolutely. There are 2 things that we're working on. One of them is very close. In fact, each month I, contribute an article to the, partner newsletter that goes out, and that gets posted to SPN. And for September, I sort of previewed the, what we're calling the solution scenarios guidebook or handbook. So one of the things we found is that we're having all these conversations. We mean in the partner strategy team, and in particular, Paul Murrell is talking to all these leaders across Sitecore about what are the types of solutions that are going to be the most valuable in terms of alignment to your goals as a seller. And we're getting a lot of the same answer. And so what we did was wrap those up and created solution scenarios that talk about what is the business problem, what's the solution that's going to help the customer get further faster with Sitecore, how will it be positioned, what's the path to revenue with this thing. And we created 9 or 10 of those and pull them together into the scenario handbook. And that is something that's going to be a deliverable that we share with the partner ecosystem and across Sitecore. We're looking at probably by the end of September, and it will most likely be a topic of conversation for Partner Connect if we can get on the agenda for that. But that's definitely coming in weeks, not months. We've been working on it since mid-July,
Very cool.
so we're really excited about that. The second thing is, right now it's in earlier phases, but as you've probably run across the campaign in a box program. That's something that's available in the marketing section of SPN. I used them personally when I was head of marketing at Connective DX and Exenium. They were really valuable tools that helped us as partners sort of streamline and make easier the process of creating lead and demand generation campaigns around our partnership with Sitecore. To date, those CIABs have been specifically designed to help promote Sitecore products or sort of broad capability sets like digital commerce or content. I'm right now creating one that is specifically designed to make it easier for partners who have contributed a solution to build a campaign, a marketing campaign around that solution. I just completed this week the concept brief for that, which will help me gather feedback from various leaders inside Sitecore. I shared it with Paul Murrell, who absolutely loved it. I know Owen's interested in it. So right now it's with the marketing team to get feedback from them because they've had a lot of experience doing this for years. And then once I gather all that feedback, I'm going to start creating the assets. Not sure if that's going to be done before DX, but it will. My personal goal is to try to get that out in the month of October. From there, that will become we'll promote that in the newsletter. We'll have our the one-on-one conversations that we've been having for months, and I'll be sharing it in that forum, sharing it with the partner business managers so they're aware of it, and then operationalizing it as part of the solution process. So to date, the solution process has been okay, let's talk about the idea, let's develop your idea, let's create the content for the website, and then it gets published. And that's wonderful. Like getting it out there is huge. But what I realized from the scenarios I talked about earlier, where some partners are thinking of the solution as one part of a broader marketing campaign, to even further level the playing field and make it as easy as possible for all of our partners to gain that kind of value. I thought, well, let's create some assets. Let's help them with copy so they can send out emails to drive attention and promote their new solution. Use social media to promote their solution, and I can't promise this yet, but I'm hoping that it's something that will qualify for MDF, so you could build campaigns and use MDF to like create an advertising campaign or even have an event to even further promote your solution into the marketplace.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
those releases in addition to some of the improvements for the search capabilities on the Partner Solutions Catalog, very welcome. So looking forward to seeing those. unrelated to the Partner Solution Catalog, with Minnesota DX coming up, anything you're looking for in particular more than the other, anything you want to highlight as part of Minnesota DX or SugCon that you're looking forward to, or anything you recommend someone to keep an eye out for?
So I wish I could give you an answer about the content. My team is a little bit insulated. The marketing team does such an amazing job. The field marketing team, as you know, does just an absolutely incredible job planning these events. My own goal for going to Minnesota in Minneapolis is to connect with you and the other partners and spend quality time talking about what we've accomplished together so far and what we want to do over the coming months. So for me, it really is an opportunity to get out of this empty office and shake hands with folks that I work with all the time. I know the content in Boston was phenomenal. I'm sure some of the leaders of Sitecore will be there to talk more about our strategy around XM Cloud, looking forward to that as well.
Awesome. Yeah, really appreciate your time today, Jake, and joining us at the water cooler. Definitely looking forward to catching up and seeing you in a few weeks at Minnesota DX. For those listening, there is still time to sign up for Minnesota DX. You can find that on Sitecore's website. And Jake, also looking forward to collaborating with you more in the future and releasing more of these solutions into the catalog from AmericanEagle.com. So thanks again for joining us at the water cooler today, Jake.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks again to Jake DiMare from Sitecore for joining us today on the Sitecore Water Cooler Podcast, a casual conversation between colleagues and peers centered around all things Sitecore. I'm your host, Jon Price, and until next time we meet at the water cooler, please be sure to subscribe to the Sitecore Water Cooler Podcast today, wherever you find your podcast. This episode is brought to you by AmericanEagle.com Studios, with special thanks to executive producers Renee Nelson, Julia Klepich, and Brian Winger.